Hi, this is Heidi Farmer from ABM International, and I'm going to show you how to use grand format embroidery path apply to make a little Sashiko table runner. And you can use any pattern you want, but these are the patterns that I happen to have in my system that I thought would look nice. So I'm just bringing them onto my viewport screen. And this is a corner piece. First I'm going to make my corner pieces and kind of get an idea of how not how big I want to make it, but how much of this pattern I want to use to get the ratio of it right. So just so that it looks good. So I know I want this pattern to be larger, so I'm just going to make it relative to the other one about the same kind of size that I want it to be. And then I'm going to copy this border. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. I'll put it over here. And then I'm going to copy it again, rotate it 90 degrees, put it down where I think it's going to be close to where it goes. Copy and paste again, rotate again. Now I've got all 4 of my corners. And then I need some sides, and I think that if I want that kind of a shape, whoopsie, I didn't want to do that. Undo, thank goodness for undo. Select the pattern that you want to use and then do more repeats. And I think I'm going to do 3 repeats here. Then I'm going to copy and paste, and I'm going to rotate it clockwise twice, and then it's going to go down in that location. Now, I don't have to line them all perfect. I can just use my attach tool, and I'll select the first pattern I want to stitch, go into my group attach, select attach, and now as I select each pattern in the order that they should stitch out, they attach and become one with the pattern before. Now you can see this whole border is one pattern that starts and stops right there. And I'm going to accept that. And then I'm going to go back out to my resize guy and see how many of these I'm going to use. I think I'll use 3. And then I'm going to take that off to see exactly where it goes. That looks about right. And then stretch it, and I'm just kind of getting it where I think it's going to look nice. And that looks pretty good. So now the fun part, well, actually first I want to resize it before I get to that fun part. So let's do this. Let's select both of them and resize. And I'm going to make this, maybe something like that in size. I can see over here it's 43 inches long by 22 inches high, and that seems like a nice size to go in the middle of my table. So I'm going to go with that. And now comes the fun part, and I'm going to show you how you can make a Sashiko stitch, and we'll be adding the stitch to the software here before too long. But if you don't have this stitch, you can make it, or you can modify a stitch, or the Sashiko stitch that ends up in the pattern to be what you want it to be. So with this particular stitch, I'm going to make the stop-start distance a little larger, and I'm going to make it a 6. And I'm doing that because then it's divisible by 3. And then I'm going to start adding some stitches. So this, when I left click on my mouse, it adds a stitch. And a Sashiko stitch is going to take one stitch with just one thread, and then I can pile up as many to make it as thick as I want to. I think I'm going to make 5 stitches back and forth here. So I've got this 4 pieces there, 4 there, and 4 there. So I'm going to do 1/3 of this as a single strand of thread, and then I'm going to make 5 strands of thread here. So if I add a couple more stitches and then pull this way, now you can see I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches pile up there. And then I can come over here and click snap points to grid, and that way I can snap them exactly where I want them. Oh, but this one, I want to stitch there, otherwise I'm going to make one big long stitch. So I need to add a stitch right there, bring it down, and right there. And then I'm going to call this, I'm going to say ABM Sashiko, and save as new. Now I'm going to close that, and then I'm going to select the pattern that I want to add the path apply to and find my new pattern, which should be at the bottom, ABM Sashiko. And there we go. You can tell that it changes because it turns it green, so you know you've added the stitches. Now this, because your stitch is so long, you can see you're losing some of the curviness to this pattern. So either you're okay with that, because sometimes Sashiko does that to patterns because you have a defined length of stitch that you're using, or you could make that Sashiko stitch a smaller Sashiko stitch, and that would give you more definition. So let's do that just to see what it looks like, okay? So I'm going to say undo, so I'm back to having my pattern. I'm going to go back to my Sashiko stitch, edit motif, whoops, there we go, there it is. Okay, so there's the stitch that I made, and I can just make it smaller. Say I want to make it, let's make it just 30% less, I guess. Whoopsie, that's not what I want to do. Clear. Let's make it a 4. And that makes the whole stitch smaller, but it keeps your ratio the same. So I've done that. I'm going to save as a new ABM small Sashiko. Okay, so now I've got another new stitch. So this one's smaller, but I still have the other stitch too. There's my small one. Okay, now you can see I didn't lose near as much definition, and I'm happy with that. And I think I want my little Greek key kind of looking pattern in there to be the same size. So I'm going to do the small Sashiko to it, and I'm done with that. So now all I need to do is stitch it out. Now when I did this project, I used just some Sashiko fabric, which is half cotton, half linen, 50-50, and I used a stabilizer, embroidery stabilizer. You can use any embroidery stabilizer you want. The kind I used was Floriani. It was really pliable, really nice, soft, so that my table runner wouldn't be stiff. But if you want your table runner to be stiffer, go ahead and put whatever your favorite stabilizer is in this project. And I used Innovatech thread And I believe I used the blonde color. If I used a different color, I'll let you know. So there you go. Have fun. And remember, Innova is built to quilt.